Hello, everybody. Welcome to another fantastic Friday with Dannphan. Hope you all have been having a good week, um, doing whatever it is you do out there beyond the chat. I haven't really been having the bestest of weeks, but we get by. We do what we do. Is there any recent news or anything? I feel like nothing of importance happened this week at all. Yeah, it just kind of seems like people are still talking about the Superman movie. Some people are talking about the new Fantastic Four movie. I haven't seen either, but I heard some good things about the new Fantastic Four, despite the not so good trailers for it. So take that as you will. I feel like that's almost every time, though. I hear mixed reviews about everything. Yeah, besides the notable celebrity deaths that occurred, I don't know. Yeah, I guess that is also a thing. There were a couple deaths this week. Not pleasant news, but I guess that is news. We got, we'll do the beginning of the stream talking about the weather thing. We had a couple of cool days where it was 70s, and that was nice. But now that's over with. Now it's all just horrific heat that you gotta just get crushed. The worst kind of heat because it's the humid heat, where it just feels like you're being wrapped in wet blankets. It's disgusting and sticky and awful. Anyway, don't go outside. And that is my advice for today. Let's see. Question about comics. The number of pages should be a multiple of 8 if you are getting it printed. Does this include the cover? Or is it just the interior pages that need to be a multiple of 8? Yeah, now you're talking about the printing aspects. So the main thing that you need to keep in mind is that the cover is going to be 4 pages overall, because it's just like maybe if you're not doing interiors, it really depends on the printer that you're working with. If they count the interior covers as being pages, because some of them just assume that you want blank cover interiors, and then some of them assume that page 1 is actually supposed to be the interior cover. But overall, yes, interiors should be multiples of 8. Sorry, maybe that was a more complicated answer. But, maybe I just overcomplicated it. Maybe the answer is no, it doesn't normally include the cover, but maybe it depends on what printer you're working with. Yeah, don't go outside. Normally I would say, yes, go outside. It's fantastic out, but not today. No, today sucks. Day's awful. I hate it. As far as the gaming world goes, both Steam and itch.io had numerous 18-plus games removed in order to comply with the standards of payment processors. Yeah, there's a lot of weird stuff that happens with payment processors and what you can and can't use them for. Some of them are very vague guidelines that nobody could ever really be held to the standard to, so it's a little bit complicated if you dive really deep into it. Managed to get a good swim before the stream. The water was just right for the heat. That sounds nice. Shamefully, there is nowhere to swim around here unless you go up into the clouds and swim in the humid, dense fucking mist. That's about it. Yeah, I would also expect the covers not to count. But some printers are weird, so I have no idea. It's a real pain in the ass to switch printer because everything will always be different. They'll have all these different rules, the different bleeds, the different everything. If only we could just force everyone to do everything the same to make things less complicated. But, you freshen up on the guidelines and figure it out. Yeah, these hot days are just awful for walking and working, especially working. I mean, like, if you're sweating over your tablet and your hand is sticking to it, it's just the freaking worst. It's just absolutely awful. I hate it. But, it is what it is. Part of the reason why my week has not been going as well is just because of it's just like this kind of race that I've been going at for a while now to make sure that I'm actually finishing my chapters on time. And it's not going as well as I'd like it to. Part of it is because I'm trying to fix the art as much as I can, but it's like running on ice where you're doing a lot of work, but you're not really moving forward that much, if at all. And it's more frustrating when you spend a long time on something and it still doesn't quite look right. And you also don't hit your deadline. Granted, these are deadlines that I set for myself, but it's based on what I've been able to do in the past for past comic campaigns. And either way, it's fucking rough. It's fucking rough to go slower than what you're normally used to. Ugh. It's always rough. Yeah, standardization would make it easy to ditch one printer for another. It's not in their interest. I guess that is one way to look at it. Now, some printers are really fucking real shady with their business practices, so it wouldn't surprise me if that was part of the reason. Let's see, I'm looking forward to the next weekend where I'll be going out of town for Bell County Comic Con. Well, that sounds fun. That sounds awesome. I'm not going anywhere. I'm gonna be at home over my desk. Draw. So, Dannphan, have you seen the newest episode of South Park? I have not. Park in a long time. Honestly, I've never really been a huge fan. I've been like, South Park is one of those shows where it's like 10% is good and then 90% is just shock humor. And I don't like shock humor. So it just doesn't do anything for me as a whole. I was like, maybe they have something to say or some joke that's funny here and there, but that's just not the most of it. So no, I haven't been watching South Park for a long time. I've heard people actually gotten fucked up through clouds because the rainwater is sharp as fuck. I've never heard that before, but that's interesting. At least tomorrow won't be as hot. Maybe. I think tomorrow for us is going to be as hot. If maybe hotter. Maybe God will just turn up the heat just because. Ugh. I have no idea. I don't even mind the heat so much. It's just the humidity. The humidity and the heat together make everything worse. And I also, like, the two places where I work in the house are probably the two hottest places in the house. So it's just very difficult to not sweat. It's like here in the bedroom is hottest place number 1. And then downstairs, tucked away in a corner that doesn't get any AC, is hottest place number 2. And that's both places where I do work. So absolutely brutal. There's no relief whatsoever. It's just always pain. But you know, rainy winter day here on the right side of the world. God, I would love to live somewhere where it's always cold. That would be fantastic. Or at least always vaguely cool. I'm sick of any place that has summers over like 85 degrees is too much for me. I need the coldest places in the world. But yeah, other than that, been doing pretty good. Thinking about how I want to further approach doing the comic stuff. But for right now, I mean, I guess it's just gotta finish up the next chapter, maybe take a breather afterwards, but for the most part, just focus on finishing up this chapter, I guess. And then I want to, there's a bunch of things that I want to take a look at. I want to look at the covers again, and that's covers for both like the first book and the second book. Look at revamping them to give them, you know, more likability, contrast, motion, something that makes them more exciting than they are right now. Eventually, I also wanted to do a second edition of book 1, and now that seems even more intimidating since I'm struggling to get through book 2. But you know how it is. Maybe I'll be in better spirits once I have a few more wins in life, but not right now. Right now is not a good time. Yeah, normally I come in at the end. Well, welcome. You've come in at the beginning. We've only been live for like 17 minutes, so congratulations. You get to see the full show. How do you go about selling your comic? Do sells well at cons? How do I go about selling my comic at conventions? Adam does all the selling at conventions. I don't do anything. I stand there and I smile. And sometimes I'll stutter what the book is about, but only through stuttering and stammering. I'm very bad at selling my books in person. I get very nervous, and I also just generally don't do well with crowds. I never have. I always hated crowds. I guess part of the reason why like doing YouTube is so much easier because I'm in theory talking to a bunch of people right now, but I don't have to see any of them. It's fantastic. But yeah, I mean, like, I guess in general, we try to sell our comics in a more genuine way, which typically means less aggressive. A lot of people at their tables and conventions are very aggressive in trying to get you to immediately buy the book. We usually don't do that. Part of the reason is because we personally hate it when people sell to us that way. But, I mean, especially me, I am not the type of person you can approach and like aggressively sell something to. I will run away and possibly scream. So don't do that. But for other people, it works for them very well. So that's how they continue doing it. We try to start up a conversation with people first, like genuinely talk to people and, you know, explain what the comics are about, put it in their hands, let them flip through it. If it looks like something that they like, you know, maybe we can upsell them on something if we have some sort of deal, like, oh, well, if you buy this bundle, you can get something free, etc., etc. But it's selling in person is tough. Even selling on the internet is tough, really. Just selling in general is tough. Everybody says that if they were given an infinite budget for their comic or their book project, they would spend it all on marketing, because nobody in the creative field is good at marketing. Everyone just sucks at selling. It's very, very true. Sad but true. What are you going to do? Even people with marketing degrees, they come out of college with the degree, hey, I can market things, and even they suck at marketing. You know, it's tough. It's just so tough. But yes. Yeah, imagine talking in public. It's terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. 37 people is like a school class. Yeah, I guess so. You know what I used to do in class when they tried to make me speak in front of everybody? I would just turn the other way, like face the blackboard and talk. I don't want to look into their eyes. Their judgmental eyes. Not worth it. I've gotten better over the years, obviously, with talking to people, but I'm still, at heart, I'm still that person that just doesn't like big crowds, doesn't like the social pressure, doesn't like being sold to aggressively. You know, it's not my thing. I have a comic, but I have it on the back burner for a while now because of developing art software. Whatever that means. Because of developing art software. But anyway, my old artist told me I should print it and try selling it, but haven't yet. Okay. Your old artist. I don't know. If you have a full story together, I guess that makes sense. You do a campaign. A lot of indie comic people do a campaign to pay to get it printed so that you could get pre-orders and sell it to the people who pre-ordered it and take it to crafts fairs and conventions and stuff. Yeah, working on a novel right now and struggle with the imposter syndrome. Oh god, so do I. Oh, I've got that imposter syndrome real bad. Don't. Oh no, you're making me think about it. The sell me this pen thing, yeah. I'm not very good at selling by far. Marketing is professional guessing and bullshittery. It's really interesting to study how other people sell things, because it does change depending on the product and who you're talking to. The way that they sell things on QVC, it's always the same way. They sell you the product the same exact way every time, no matter what the product is on QVC. But that's because they're expecting the same exact people to always be watching QVC. You know what I'm saying? So, marketing, there's no like clear-cut way to market anything. You got to know your audience, and you got to know the very specific way to sell to that audience. Oh man, QVC is really funny though. I've known people who get addicted to buying shit on QVC. They buy it just because of how the people sell it, but then they return it because it's fucking garbage, right? It's all fucking garbage. But the way that people sell it, that really sells these particular audience members on it, is that they try to paint you a picture like, oh, you know, let's say they're selling sandals. They're like, oh, you can wear these at the beach. Just imagine it. You're out in the sun and these sandals are so comfortable and cool. And you're just like, oh my God, where'd you get those? It's so nice. And then you go dip into the fucking ocean with your sandals on because they're so great. And it's the idea that they're painting this idyllic picture that makes this particular audience want the sandals more, or think that they need the sandals, you know? But I don't know if that necessarily works in terms of comics. So, you know, different sales tactics for different people is my main point. Yeah, generally everyone fears being coached. Okay, you're a coder. Coder, art development software. You're coding art software. Got it. If 9 chapters sort of has an ending, but I really want to get to chapter 16 for a completed arc before printing and selling. That's a lot. Are these long chapters? Are we thinking like 20 to 30 pages per chapter? Or are these like those super baby chapters, like 5 pages? Because 16 is a lot of chapters. I say this as someone who's always consistently advising people to start off short, because if you start off like your first comic or two with a very long story, you're going to waste a lot of time on something that is not at your current level of expertise. The more time you spend on something, the less time you give yourself to actually work on getting better. Because it really is a time sink. Oh my god, making comics is such a time sink. Don't even get me started. But yeah. Have you seen the original Aeon Flux show from MTV? If yes, do you think it's due for a comeback and possibly an anime format? If so, which... Oh, that's like a bunch of questions. I've only seen like 1 episode of the original Aeon Flux. I've seen the movie, and I remember it more so for the movie than I do the actual animated series. It didn't appeal to me very much. Not that I hate it, but I'm just so indifferent to it that I couldn't really give you much of an opinion on it. Yeah, wow, these sandals sound so awesome. Yeah, they're the best sandals, man. Anyone here seen the Chinese selling streams? No, I haven't seen those. It's interesting, though. Since Rise of the TMNT's cancellation, I've been developing my story with somewhat similar plot and characters. My imposter syndrome is off the chart. Yeah, 20 to 30 pages. That's fucking long. 16 chapters, each 20 to 30 pages. That's really fucking long. It's a webtoon. Okay, it's a webtoon. Well, webtoons... I hate webtoons because I feel like they encourage people to start doing comics the worst way possible. But I can understand the length a little bit more now, because webtoons are supposed to be like really fucking go on forever. Yeah. Honestly, if you want to upload on webtoons, just upload 1 page every update. That's the way that you do it. Just 1 page, and just split up the panels to be like 1,000,000 miles apart from each other so that they got to keep on scrolling. Boom. You just 1 page updates. That's all you need on webtoons. It's the worst format ever. I know. Oh, but Dannphan, I like webtoons and I'm in your chat now. I don't, okay? I never liked the webtoon form. Never liked the webtoon format. Not once in my life. It's just never caught on to me. Granted, I don't normally read webcomics. I do read comics on my phone, but not in the style of a webtoon. I read normal pages on my phone because I have the ability to zoom in if I want to look at a panel more. Not that I really need to, because every time I hold my phone to my face, it's to my face. It's like right here. I can zoom in on the panel all I want just by holding the phone closer to my face. Not recommended. Don't listen to me. I'm bullshitting you. I haven't read Dark Tower, but I saw the movie. Well, I saw 1 episode of the original TV show, and then I saw the movie. I'm not sure if the movie has the same plot twist at the end as the actual TV show did. That was what I was saying. I was saying if I didn't know if they like deviated from the ending or not, or even if the cartoon had an ending, because I never watched that far into it. Was it in a video where you said your first story to go with your bad ideas first? Maybe something like that. I don't know exactly. I probably said something along the lines of all of your first ideas will be bad, and so get those out of the way and give yourself time to come up with your really good ideas late in the game. It's also hard to work on the characters and plots that were made by other creatives, since it doesn't fall in your direction sometimes. Yeah. Always best to keep it original, I find, because it challenges you more. But you know. Yeah, reorganize for the vertical format. That's Webtoon. That's what everybody expects on Webtoon. You get to just fucking one panel at a time. Do kids even like that, or are they just used to it that way, so they don't want to change? I don't know. You Comics Gate, answer wisely or get flagged. Me personally, I'm kind of just my own thing. I'm kind of just Dannphan. I'm just here. I just exist. I did like 3 6-page updates. Yeah. Everyone I know on Webtoon, they upload what is like an equivalent of 1 page, like 5 panels, and that's an update. But they just space them out really far and then add a bunch of like gradients and extra text bubbles in between. And it's like, yeah, it's an update. Borubuchi, hey, there you go. Oh my goodness. I hate it. It's actual torture. By Webtoon, you mean the standard manhwa format? Well, they're both exactly the same, right? Because Webtoon is just a platform that was basically created to push manhwa, and they just let people upload on it first, so it would become popular, and then they did the bait and switch where it's like, actually, we're going to start promoting our own comics now, ha ha ha, etc., etc. My later ideas are bad too. Maybe. Have you seen Solo leveling physical volumes, reforming vertical to comic page formats? Looks so atrocious. It was also carried hard by the gradients. That sounds about right. Yeah. I've seen like Solo leveling the volume collections in stores. I never actually like opened them up and flipped through them. But when I see a Webtoons format, right, it's not that it's always terrible. Sometimes they do something creative and work with what they got, right? They try to use the vertical format to their advantage to pull off some cool vertical action sequences and stuff like that. And I can appreciate them actually trying to use the format for something instead of just one panel at a time with a bunch of empty space. But yeah, then you have the difficulty of like converting it into a real comic to actually sell, because they need money, and Webtoons does not make a ton of money off of ad revenue. I mean, really nobody does, but some are better than others. EVS gave the okay on flagging channels, pick a side. That's weird. You're being weird. I don't like that. You reported for bullying and harassment. Cool. Alright. The good ones, yes. Tell EVS to take his BS elsewhere. I've never had any beef with EVS, so I don't know why. I don't know if he would appreciate you flagging me. That sounds kind of rude. What does Webtoon make their money on actually? Well, it's like the same deal with any webcomic. It's like you do pull in some ad revenue, but it's never really considerable. Most of the money comes in through stuff like merchandising or like actually selling the physical copies, you know? So that's why a lot of webcomics, eventually they would be posting online on a host that was like free and whatnot. But the idea is that they're building up an audience so that they can eventually sell the physical copy of their comic. And that's the idea, anyways. So, you know. And I kind of understand the idea of like posting your comic for free at first to gain a fan base and then selling the physical version. I do also like, obviously, the crowdfunding format here, where, you know, maybe you post some previews or you give people some previews, you tell people what the comic is going to be about, and you do this pre-order campaign, basically, where everyone can pre-order the comic ahead of time while you're finishing it up. Sometimes the comics are already finished and you're just crowdfunding for the physical copies. But yeah. I think that's pretty solid. I think maybe more people are expecting you to be already done your comics when you're crowdfunding them. Unfortunately, that was not at all the case with Reaper 2. Maybe I jumped the gun a little bit with the second Reaper book. Just because I felt kind of bad. I felt bad. I mean, like, there was a huge wrench thrown in the cogs, you know, when I lost my first hard drive, and I lost really a lot of progress, some of that being Reaper progress. So I had to redo a lot of the first book, this one, that would eventually be done and crowdfunded. And then after that, I also had work from the second book that was just completely gone, completely had to redo. And I had to redo drafts for that, while simultaneously trying to finish up the long-awaited graphic novel for Sonic City Witch. This was a long one too, but at least we were doing this for like a couple of years, and then by the time we were ready to crowdfund it, there was not much more waiting involved with it. Yeah, geez. I gotta clean out where I store my comics. I got like a whole stack here. But yeah, because last year I did Reaper Book 1. I wanted this year to do Reaper Book 2, and I thought, hey, if I can put out a campaign for each new book every year, that would be a good pace to do. But fuck, it's a little bit harder than I thought. Because I wasn't as prepared for Reaper Book 2 as I wanted to be. That's the issue. I had to redo the drafts. It ended up being longer than I anticipated. But, you know, it turns out okay. This happened to me. Thankfully, I'm pretty lazy, so I didn't lose that much. Yeah. Thank you. You make me feel a little bit better. No, it was, maybe I should have delayed the campaign a little bit more so people wouldn't. But, the way I kind of figured it in my head is either way, people would still be waiting for the book. Even if I didn't do the campaign when I did, you're still waiting for the campaign for the book. It would still be the same time frame for when I'm starting the book and finishing it. But it's going to get done. So far, I got 2 chapters in the book finished. And, maybe a quarter of the way through the 3rd one. So, we're doing it. Thank you, CG King of Comics. Ignore my friend. Comics get his movement about comics. We are at war and only flagging channels that attack EVS. He only approves of flagging those. Thanks for the clarification. All right. Very, very odd, but okay. Is he still in the chat, or did he leave? Guess he left. I don't know. I wonder if if Webtoon got a cut from the anime adaptations. Remember Noblesse getting 1 season? Wonder how the deal looked? Yeah. Well, it's through Webtoon, right? They usually say that it's in collaboration with Webtoon, so that usually means that they're together on that. It makes more sense. Have you read any good art books? And, well, I know a bunch of art books that other people tell me that I should read, and I never did. Framed Ink, you know that one? Yeah, people always are recommending that one. It's like, man, that's because my inking sucks. We all know it. We all know. It's an open secret. Yes, my inking sucks. I'll tell you the best one out there for, I think, a lot of people who are just starting out on comics and just kind of want a crash course. Understanding Comics is genuinely a pretty good one. Pretty good one. And easy to read because it's also kind of in comic format. Very nice, I would say. I have read that one and can confirm it is a good, solid crash course on comics. I read it because a friend actually gave me a PDF of it. But funny enough, the PDF was lost on the last hard drive, so that's gone now. But eventually, I will eventually get a physical copy of it, and then I don't have to worry about that. So it'll all work out in the end. My inking is pretty good. No. I don't know about that. You know what it's missing? It's missing a lot of line weight, and it's missing a lot of contrast. And in general, I'm just not that good at shadows, you know? And I'm doing some value studies and stuff like that to try to be a little bit more conscious of where the shadows go. In general, I usually just do this neutral kind of shading. You know, like how they do in anime a lot. And most of the time, the type of shading that they're doing is neutral shading. But if you come to understand a little bit more about how the shadows actually work and where the light source is, you can do some more interesting things with shadows and contrast. Yeah, Understanding Comics is on the archive. It's good. It's genuinely quite good. It's good. But you know, if you don't mind learning math to improve your drawing, how to draw by, oh man, I can't. Don't use the M word around me. It's funny. I'm not I'm not a girl math type of girl, right? I don't like the idea that like you shouldn't learn math or anything like that, but like the math and drawing are two separate parts of the brain for me. I cannot combine them. That's rough. That sounds more difficult than just learning how to draw. Somehow that makes learning how to draw seem so much more complicated. But yeah, you know, one of the rough things about doing the second book, it's not necessarily inking up the drafts that I've already did. It's redrawing the drafts that I already did and then inking them up, because what I have right now are these really like rough sketch drafts, and they were done kind of long ago, or at least long enough that so that it doesn't really match my current skill. So I'm drawing over the drafts and then inking over those, which is obviously an even bigger time sink than it should be if you're just already good at art. But that's the issue with learning art, improving art, and then also doing comics at the same time, where especially you're going to see it really badly with like Reaper Book 1 and then comparing that to Reaper Book 2. There's going to be this huge shift in style. It's honestly probably going to be too much. It's probably going to be too dramatic of a change, which is the main reason why I'd like to go back and actually redraw the first book, even though that's another time sink. Like what I'm actually, maybe you guys didn't like actually think about it when I said that I wanted to go back, fix the first book, and come out with a second edition. But this alone is a solid 108 pages. Imagine like taking this and just redrawing all of this. That is what I'm suggesting, but it would be for the better. Some of these, like, you know, you could argue some of these panels are like not as bad, you know, like you don't have to do as much work to fix them up. But most of them, they're pretty, you know, most of them, they're pretty distinct when it comes to being from an inexperienced artist. It is what it is. I will trade you my math and coding skills to be able to draw a good stick figure. I'll take you up on that offer, Mark. It's rough. It's really rough. But, you know, lucky me, I've been taking some nice weekly classes with a friend who's like also helping me, and like other artists reached out to me and they're also like kind of helping me, pointing me in the right direction with like how to improve this and that. All good stuff. I mentioned before, one little piece of random social media advice that I came across that I thought was kind of interesting specifically for artists is to also post your practice sketches and your studies as well as finished pieces. That was interesting because I just assumed nobody would want to see shitty practice pieces that are not good. But as it turns out, people really enjoy studies. Funny enough. It's like, oh, is Twitter down? Oh no, it's fine. Here, I'll share my screen for like 2 seconds to show you what I mean. So this is like just a practice drawing through shapes. I did not I was just like, fuck it. I'll just post whatever. Here's a bunch of penetrated shapes, right? What the fuck is this? How did this get 52 likes? Who are you? I mean, it's amusing. I'll give it that. I did find it to be funny. But, like, I was not expecting penetrated shapes to get any likes. It's just goofy. And, you know, also I'm posting, like, actual stuff like this where I'm, like, practicing drawing eyes and making sure I got the high points and low points, etc. correct. And they're all anime eyes, and I thought, oh yeah, people like those. It didn't get as many likes as the box is in the fucking shapes. Nobody gives a shit about anime eyes. They just want more fucking shapes stabbing each other. You sick freaks. Oh, man. And then today I posted like just some random heads. They're not that good. So, yeah. They're just some random heads that I was just sketching from like a couple of references. It's whatever. Nothing too extraordinary there. But who would have thought that somebody out there would like enjoy shapes getting stabbed? I was not expecting that. Is my main point. Please watch Congruent Angels anime OP Accruing Angles thesis. The top comment of that video is great. Oh, what is it, like a math parody about using like the Ava opening? Yeah, maybe they like penetration. Yes, right. Got a tag not safe for work on those shapes. I thought it was lagging. It's lagging. Thought it was censoring. Yeah, that would be strange. I gotta censor the shapes getting penetrated. I mean, it's a real study, okay? It's a real thing that you do to like practice drawing, understanding shapes and how they come together or something. I don't know, man. I'm not an art teacher. I can't explain it to you, but it's a real study. It's supposed to be good. But yeah, as I was not expecting it to get any likes. I was expecting people to look at it and be like, huh, that's kind of odd. It's kind of odd to draw shapes mashed together. Instead, I'm getting like all these retweets. Like, where the fuck were you? I can post full comic pages and not get any retweets. It's very funny. But yeah, so if you guys out there are doing art and you want some advice, some random advice for how to get more likes on social media, post studies. It works. There you go. Just post random ass studies. It doesn't matter what you're doing. You can literally post shapes being penetrated. Boom. That'll get you all the likes. That's the good stuff. Yeah, shapes are important if you want to give things proper form. Yeah. And that's the main thing that like I'm working to improve is just like structure of my characters and everything that comes in between. So I'm glad to get as much practice as I can in between actually working on the chapters for the book. It is a lot. In full disclosure, it is a lot for sure. Because one, I'm working on this 200-page comic. That's in of itself, that's a lot. And then I got a job on the side. Everybody, most people who do comics also have a job on the side. It's not unusual, right? But then we also have the YouTube to continue promoting my comics and promoting other comics on burningstarcomics.net. Check out the website. Just throw that one in there for the live stream. And it's hard juggling. It does get really difficult to then also add on top of this, also do these different practices every week to improve your art. And as I'm improving my art, the art is going to start to look different from page 1 to page 200, you know? And I imagine like there's going to be a lot of editing involved by the time I'm actually, even when I'm actually done inking the comic, I'm probably going to be going back and editing certain panels. It's a curse. It's a blessing and a curse to be improving while you're doing a comic. But this is all the more reason why I usually say people who are just starting out, start with short comics. Do yourself a favor and start with something short and achievable. Do not make my mistakes. Don't do it. Ah, man. If I had raised a considerable amount of money on the campaign, no doubt in my mind, I would definitely be hiring an assistant or someone to help me get it done, right? It's fantastic to work on long form comics, but it's such a time sink that it's worrisome, you know? It's worrisome because you're not sure if the fans are still going to be around by the time you finish. It's tough. But it's difficult to also find an assistant. Even if I could afford to have an assistant helping me out and we could tag team on like doing the comic or whatever, very difficult to find people who are not already doing their own things. Because chances are, if they are talented enough to work with you, they're already working on their own project and they already have grand plans, which I would fully endorse you doing your own thing. There's no shame. It's tougher to like do it all on your own, but for a lot of people, that's the best thing for them. Well, it's better for them to just focus on their own projects instead of helping somebody else work on theirs. So, you know, there's different circumstances for each person, of course. But damn. I once quoted someone, like, how much would it cost for you to help me with like backgrounds and tones as an assistant on a comic rather than the main artist? And the price that they gave me was basically the same price as it would be if I had just hired an artist to do all the pages without me doing anything. Like, I think it was straight up, they quoted me at like $200 a page. And it's like, God damn. I can hire someone to just ink the entire comic. It was high. I don't remember the exact number. But I was like, okay, so totally not worth it then. Might as well put my head down and learn how to do it myself. But once again, maybe they just thought that I had more money than I did and that I would pay anything. I'm not sure. I can't read people's minds, you know. I took your advice and started with a short comic. Now I have a lot of folks asking for more. That's the best. That's the best outcome, is when you do a short comic and people are like, when's the sequel coming out? But like, I totally get it. A lot of people ask me the same question. Like this is supposed to just be a one shot. And it's pretty short. Pretty short, pretty simple. It feels like a total complete story. But every time someone reads it, they're like, when's the next one coming out, Dannphan? It's been years, and you still haven't worked on number 2? It's like, it's done. It's finished. But I get it. I do. I get it. Because I like to end things open-endedly, just in case I do want to do a sequel in the future. I think that's like the better better way to do it. Keep your options open. But sometimes, it's done. That's it. It's all completed, I was thinking, because people wanted to see another one-shot from me, I was thinking maybe after Reaper 2's finished, maybe I would work on something else that was short. Maybe do a new 30-page one-shot that's also open-ended. I have this idea for something that could be a series. Not that I would ever do 2 series at the same time, because it's obviously a lot, and I don't have any assistants. But that is an option to do in between Reaper 2 and what will eventually be Reaper 3. But then the other question is, well, when am I going to start working on the 2nd edition of Reaper Book 1? Because that is something I genuinely want to do. And maybe it's too much. Is it? I don't know. Is it too much work? Should I not be filling up my plate with all these different projects? Yeah, it's tough. I don't have all the answers at my disposal, I don't know what's going to be a waste of time and what's going to be best for me. I know this much. I don't like it when people look at my work and they say, it's good for indie, they're lowering the standard for my case. I don't want to be that person that convinces everybody to lower their standards. I don't like being the bar for people. I'd like to be extraordinary without trying to sound too dramatic. I'd like to be exceptional, I'd like to be better. I'm not settling, but I will be honest, it is my favorite comic of yours, and I am waiting for the next episodes with no shame. I read It's Not Like Getting a Job Will Kill You, and it's a good read. The way you ended it is open-ended, and thought wins the sequel. Yeah. I mean, it's not like I never thought about what a sequel would look like, and I know immediately, well, obviously we got to do a flash forward to him actually having his son, and it's a little bit cliche to do the baby as part of the adventure, the cliche where they have the baby being super competent, and I wouldn't do anything like that, but you could have some funny things with a baby. Is $200 a page the standard rate for an inker, or is that rate for pencils and inks? No. None of the above. 200 was what he was quoting me for doing just backgrounds and tones, the screen tones. That's why I was saying that it was way too high. That's I could hire somebody to just do all the art for $200 a page. Obviously, and don't quote me on that. I could hire somebody. I'm not saying everybody. Every single artist has a different page rate. They all have their own specified page rates. But, what I think would be a cool experiment is to continue that story in form of old-timey comic strips. I don't know what that would be a part of, though. If I were doing a monthly magazine or something, it's also tough. I've seen other indie comics people try to do monthly magazines. I don't know what they're thinking. That's way too hard. I mean, even actual big monthly magazines don't do well. I don't know why. That's tricky. That's really tough. That's why I'm developing art software. I wanted to make assist tools that can improve skills. and increase pacing as well to master. I don't understand, but okay. Anyway, before I completely finish off this stream, I'll just say this much. Something I'm okay. So the Spider-Man video. Dog's freaking out. The Spider-Man video that I mentioned in the last stream, I did finish it, but I didn't upload it this week because YouTube gets weird. YouTube gets weird whenever I upload it on a day that I normally don't upload videos. So instead, I'm just gonna upload it this upcoming Wednesday. So for those of you who are looking forward to seeing that, all two of you, you can expect that next week. I finished it yesterday, so I just couldn't upload it because YouTube sucks, essentially. YouTube forces me to not upload videos whenever I'm finished them. Additionally, me and Adam also did an interview with Cult Games. So for those of you who follow the gaming channel, which is also in the description, easy to find, Game Fans, that interview is probably going to premiere, I was thinking tomorrow, maybe. I'll post a community post when I'm actually finished it. It wasn't live, right? We were just recording, but I'm gonna add some nice music to it, maybe do a couple edits to make it a little bit more crisp, a crisp interview. Try to get it down to at least an hour. But yeah, so if you're looking for indie games, I'd recommend checking out that interview that we did with Cult Games when it's finished. I think you'll be happy with some of the games that they showcase. It's really neat stuff. But that's all I got in terms of video news for you guys right now. I'm gonna call it here. I gotta get back to work. But thanks for joining me for another fantastic and a little bit strange Friday stream. I'll try to catch you guys next time for those of you who still have questions or other things you'd like to talk about. No worries. We got time for the next stream to continue talking about things. So, thank you guys, and I'll see you then. Bye! How do I end stream? There we go.